And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It is 21st, October 2025. Hope you're having a good day. As always, serious talk on everything that affects you. We'll do the markets, the economy, your job, your industry, tariffs, debt, deficits, scams, shams, corruption, you name it. We cover it without any agenda, any ulterior motive, or any bias whatsoever, ladies and gentlemen. And today, you know when we know there's a crowded trade in the market? When we get lots of inquiries about a certain entity that had a rough day today. We'll explain that in a minute. And if you do not get this radio show in your city, we'll post it at GaryK.com. We'll also post it on our X feed. And if you don't follow us on X, you should. And if you'd like to email us, just be nice. We'll also post it on the podcast apps, also on the YouTube channel of BizTV. And that's that. So, where do we want to start? It's kind of simplistic. Gold dropped 6.25% today. I'm using the GLD. Gold got hit pretty darn good today. And as you know, for a few days, we've been telling you, man, we sold like 8 days ago. We really thought it was one hell of a sell signal. We were wrong. And then came Friday, we thought it was another big sell signal, and we were wrong because they gapped it up yesterday. Well, today, let's call it the air came out on a near-term basis. Let's call it that. So I want to do a little bit of what I call emotional and sentiment cycle work and how it works in the markets. And sometimes, listen carefully, we're talking about the very long-term cycles. And sometimes we're talking about the here and now. Right now, we're talking about kind of sort of the here and now. Let's backtrack. Gold for 18 weeks was range-bound, where every time it would hit a certain level to the upside, it would not get through. And pretty much that number was around for the GLD, that's an ETF, $316, $317 for 18 weeks. And then something happened. The gold miners broke out while gold was just sitting range-bound. And as we have taught you and told you, typically when the miners lead, that's bullish for gold. And it was just about 5 or 6 days later where we said to you on this show, we don't do it often, because we're very careful. Because if we tell you, oh, we're buying something today, we are obliged to tell you what we're doing tomorrow with it, and the next day, and the next day. So we will try to just say these are avoids, these are uptrends, these are downtrends. Anyway, it broke out and then slowly drifted higher. And then about latter part of September started going not vertical, but almost vertical, somewhat parabolic. We would call it 7 p.m. to 1 a.m. on a clock. And what you need to know, and this has nothing to do with what happens tomorrow, because they can bounce it or they can send it lower. I don't know. Tomorrow's another day. I wouldn't be surprised if they did bounce it. What happened recently, and I told you this on the show, more and more people that I don't even know were asking me about gold. More and more, and more and more, and more and more were asking me about gold. And that was after a big move up, and actually several breakouts since the initial huge breakout in March of 24. That's number one. Number two, our local Fox affiliate, where I do television hits whenever they ask me to do television hits, asked me to come on and talk about gold. And why would you think they would do that? Well, they were getting inquiries about it also. And again, this is after big moves. And then there's the pundits. Those that have never, ever even talked about gold. Even on its first initial move up. Even on its second initial move up. Broke out, range bound for a while, broke out again, range bound for... All of a sudden, are gold bugs. And then what happens? And we told you this on the show. Investment bankers, brokerages are actually coming out and saying something that they haven't said in, I can't even begin to tell you how long. You need to have 10% of your assets in gold or 20%. And I'm like, wow, price moves statements. Just remember, these brokerage firms are marketing. They're always marketing. Remember what I told you back in 99, what happened? Mutual fund companies were changing their names from the technology fund to the internet fund because the internet stocks were so hot. Companies were adding .com to their name just to goose their stocks. Marketing. What else have we seen in the last year? Well, crypto. Crypto this, crypto that, crypto this, crypto that. Crypto miner, crypto miner, crypto miner, crypto miner. Have certain percentage of your money in crypto. That's what we've been hearing. Why? Did we hear that in 22 when Bitcoin dropped 75%? No. You hear that because it's been going higher. And let me give you, I'm not allowed to guarantee. So I'm not going to guarantee. It is my opinion, if we go into another bear market again, in Bitcoin and all that other stuff, what do you think's going to happen to those that have been saying crypto? They shut up. So just letting you know, you're getting that little bit of the sentiment / cycle of, boy, gold's had a big move and now everybody loves it. So some of the air was taken out of it today. Not 6.25%. It's a pretty good drop. But I have news for you. I'm not so sure the bull market's over. I think you just hit a moment. And tomorrow, for all I know, we can be up nicely. I don't know. I have no edge right here except to say, hey, this is what happened today. I'll give you the normality. The normality now is the highs of yesterday will be the what I would call near-term high, and you're going to go through some motions here. Maybe another 18 weeks of range bound. Maybe. Or maybe we just go up 1,000 tomorrow. I don't know. There's no real edge. We're just letting you know some of the things we have told you over the last couple of weeks come into fruition a little bit here. And by the way, admittedly, what was it, 2 Thursdays ago? I thought that was going to be the high. And we went up another 8-9%. So we'll see what happens if it keeps falling. I don't know. I gather after such a drop today, it probably bounces tomorrow. but normalization would be some backing and filling now. And that means up one day, down one day, up one day, down one day. Maybe a scare day, maybe a strong day, but we'll go through weeks. This is normality. Weeks of back and forth now just to work off this amazing move that it just had. Up next, we'll put a bow tie on that. A bunch of other things to discuss. I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. So just a little bit of thought process. While we tell you, darn, we sold two Thursdays ago, I feel a little bit better today about selling 2 Thursdays ago, because if I didn't, I probably would still be in it and had to deal with today, which would have been a pain. I got asked what I would have done if I had it today. As I tell everybody, on a gap like that, probably let it open up, give it a little bit underneath, and then get the heck out. And then deal with it. We'll see. Anyway, that's the gold story today. I was asked, why do I think? No rhyme or reason. Just decided to go down today. The dollar's been a little bit stronger against other currencies, which has a dampening effect on commodities. But I must tell you, the dollar has been pretty decent for the last 2 or 3 weeks, and it didn't stop gold from rising like it did. So, again, I have no clue about tomorrow, whether it bounces or not. It would be normal to bounce. The GLD dropped $26 today. Gold miners weaker than the metal now, which you really kind of sort of don't want to see. But that's basically the story. And we'll keep you apprised of it, because I got news for you. If it goes through corrective work and we find another spot to get in, we want to get in. We're not so sure the move's over. But pretty decent chance the highs of yesterday could be it for now. Possibly, maybe, could be. What else do we want to bring up to you today? Well, we warned you again. And one of our favorite things to do here is just let you know there are times to have what we would call a heightened alert. And it just means, dang, there's a lot of froth and speculation out there. And how do we measure that? Well, we see it. And we've explained to you, wow, look at that. $1 rare earth stock goes to 6 in 3 days. That type of crap's been going on. Here's one that went from 18 to 44 in 8 days. I'm just looking at one. Here's one where the president met with them. It went from 2 to 11. Because the president, and by the way, these are all no sales companies. They have no sales. And all we would just say to you is, just letting you know that froth is really picked up. It's a lot of, we don't want to call it junk, because these are companies and they're trying to do things. But then again, there is one nuclear company that somehow has been public for 25 years with no sales. And it still trades. And whenever nuclear gets hot, it goes up. Even though for 25 years, absolutely no frickin' sales, why would you ever buy that stock? Nothing against the company. Why would you buy that? Because the group is hot. Just want to let you know, the bloom is coming off the rose right now. I don't know how much that's going to be. Let me just outline a few. You ready? Here is one of those rare earth whatever. Just went from 32 to 16 in 6 days. One of those rare earths. That's a 50% drop. How about this one? Another mining exploration stage. 81 to 34 in 5 days. By the way, these were hot stocks. When I say 81 to 34, well, it went from 14 to 81. And for no reason, just that all of a sudden people are talking about rare earth. But you got to remember, if you have no sales, here's one that's gone from 44 to 26 in 6 days. And that is another rare earth. So we're just letting you know, Bloom coming off. Here's a nuclear, no sales, 47 to 38 in 4 days. How about another, another one. Actually, got the wrong symbol in there. A 61 to 42 in 4 days. Nuclear. No sales. Do you want me to do some quantum names? Because I got a few of those. How about this one went from 58 to 40 in 4 days. I'm sorry. By the way, this one, I'm not going to mention the name. Their office is in a strip shopping center, and the CEO came out and said they're not going to scale for a decade. Scale means sales. So we're just letting you know that's going on right now. And just be wary. As always, we're not going to tell you to buy, sell, short, or cover. We're just going to tell you what's going on, and we're going to tell you, hey, by the way, here is a nuclear stock, one of the strongest, hottest ones, just went from 194 to 139 in the last 5 days, and it still has a $20.5 billion market cap with no sales. So we just want you to remember this. If you do not have your wits about you and you fall into the trap of froth and speculation and just buy anything at any price, wow. And I just want to remind you, in the midst of the GameStop, when it was going nuts, I got a call from a lady, I believe she had to be 80 years old. And she asked, I don't know who she was, she asked me should she buy GameStop. And it was already up like sixfold in like a week. And I said to her, do you know what the stock has done? She said, yes. I go, don't you think there's risk? And she said, what if it goes higher? I said, I'm not saying it's not going to. I can't give you an answer on what you do. She got mad at me. And while I was talking to her, the stock went up like 5%. And she said to me, while I've been on the phone with you, it's up 5% more. This is what we mean by losing your head. And by the way, I think the next day was the climactic move, and all hell broke loose after that. And I'm in hopes that the young lady did not fall into the trap. But that's what happens in markets. And you just have to recognize to not pay $10 for a dollar bill. Especially when things are on to the downside. If you can catch one of these early, you can make some big. Most of the noise is after the move. Up next, rest of the day. Netflix after the close. I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. So, welcome once again to Investor's Edge. Interesting. Netflix missed by $1.09. But then guides fourth quarter above consensus and fourth quarter revenues above consensus. So so they missed badly on their guidance, and now we're supposed to believe what the next quarter is going to be. Anyway, it doesn't matter. What matters is outcome. And interesting enough, it's not as bad as one will think, because Netflix closed Thursday at $1,183. It closed today at $1,241. So it's had a nice move before earnings. Currently in the aftermarket, it's $1,183. So if nothing changes, you're down about $58, just back to the lows of Thursday. And I'll look over the numbers later. We've talked Netflix. It's kind of a sort of an important name up there. Biggie type of thing. Anyway, and of course they have Monday Night Raw on Netflix now. And you know what I'm finally doing? I'm watching some shows that are on. I've never watched shows. You know, these new shows that they put up there, and I'm doing a little. Like right now, I'm doing HBO Max. I've never watched The Sopranos, so we're starting to do that now. I'd never watched Sopranos. You know what I did in the last year? I never watched Friends, and I never watched Cheers. I love Cheers. What a great show that was. Friends was terrific, but Cheers, I loved it. I loved that show. Ted Danson, by the way, you know who the star of the show was? Carla. She was the real star. Fantastic. And Diane, what a mistake leaving that show. The show was so good because you thought you were in the bar. That's why it was so darn good. You were hanging with Norm. It was great. Anyway, back where we were, we mentioned Netflix. You had good moves today in GM. GM's numbers weren't good, but they gave some good guidance. 3M in the Dow, up 1296 is about 75 Dow points today. Though 3M stock is trading where it was in 2017. 8 years of no gains, and that's including the recent rally off the lows. By the way, at the lows of the Trump tariff crash, 3M was, you had to go all the way back, I'm not making this up, to 2004. Wow, huh? Anyway, good move in 3M. Actually kind of breaks out of range today on heavy volume. That helped the Dow. How about Raytheon? Defense gapped up a little bit. Didn't finish great. Good move. Coca-Cola had a good move today on single digits. Kind of on the boring side. And Steel Dynamics had a good move. And just remember, we're in the midst of frickin' earnings season, and we have a lot more work to be done. Let's see, Texas Instruments, I think they reported also, I believe that's down $11, Texas Instruments. This has been one of the weak non-AI semiconductor stocks, so a couple of yonks in the aftermarket. How's Capital One, as I sit here, up a few bucks? They're great bookies. I call credit card companies and all that bookies. What can I tell you? Dow was up 218, but the S&P was flat. So what does that tell you? It was very Dowish. And what we mean by that is, we mentioned 3M. Salesforce.com. I'll be careful with my words. Looks like the stock is finally bottomed after a bear market of many, 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 many months. And by the way, weak going back to 2020. But looks like it's trying to put in some sort of a bottoming process here. And that's in the Dow, and that was 60 Dow points today. And that's how you get to 218. I think we were up 350 at one time. NASDAQ was down. Russell 2000 was down. SOX was finally at a down day. Transports were up. It was a revenge of the nerds day in that housing bounced, insurance bounced, economically sensitive bounce. You had some restaurants bounce today. You had some down and out financials bounce, though not very good action in some of the banks today. the big banks. Some retail bounced. Even, let's see, Lululemon was even up $9 today. By the way, Lululemon closed at 181. It was 423 in January. But don't worry, just think long term. Anyway, so we'll call it a mixed day. And how's that for an answer? A mixed day as we head into continued massive amounts of earnings this week, next week, the week after, and we will just be ready for anything. As we said, Netflix down, GM up. By the way, GM stock that was strong today. 5 times average volume also, which means Ford had a good day also. Yeah, Ford had a good day, but they report in 2 days from now. And that is a little bit of today. I will also have to mention some of the down and out tech bounced also today while the stronger tech came in. And interesting enough, some of the AI plays, not great day today, especially the energy plays of AI. Symbols like GEV, TLN, CEG, VST. Don't you love when I do alphabet soup? They also got some of the construction stuff of AI, the data centers and all that crap. And again, froth really coming off. We'll let you know if that changes, because I know how you guys love froth. I'm jealous. I didn't own any of these dollar stocks that went to 6 in 4 days. Then again, I don't own them at 6 when they go back to 1. And they will. You know what else I got on to the questions today? Beyond Meat was up 146% today. And is up again big in the aftermarket. The stock, I guess they had to do their debt and stuff like that. You know what the news was? They have plans with Walmart to increase availability of selected products at over 2,000 stores nationwide. Wow. I wish I knew. I couldn't trade on it anyhow. Anyway, that came out of nowhere. I don't think anybody knew. And you know what we've been saying since day one on Beyond Meat, that plants ain't happening. And the stock dropped 99% or something like that. But Walmart's going to carry them. And I got news for you. Walmart's a juggernaut. Now, whether or not that turns into sales, I don't know. But Walmart looks like they're going to test them out, roll them out, and that's what's moving the stock today. Beyond the Meat. Next thing I'm very much interested in, want to see how Tesla reacts. Because I'm not so sure their numbers are going to be too great. I believe Tesla's tomorrow after the close. Yes, that is correct. With IBM, Lam Research, Las Vegas Sands, SAP, United Rentals. Boy, tomorrow's going to be an interesting day. Tomorrow also Hilton, Northern Trust, Chicago Mercantile Exchange, Boston Scientific. Oh, that GEV that's trading under the 50-day now, they report too. Hey, stay tuned. Up next, I think I'll whine and complain about something. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. Well. Got to mention Intuitive Surgical, one of the big down and out stocks of the last, 8-10 months, up $110 to $573 in the aftermarket, up 24%. Dang. And of course, that's robotics for surgery and things like that. Good on them, because that stock's been dead. Looking for earnings. Let me see. Beats by 41 cents. Revenues rose 23%. They came out at 240 versus 185. Okay, that's a good number. Anyway, boy, that'll come out of a bear market quickly. So a lot of jello moving on the plate. Oh, man hands got hit in the aftermarket. That's from Seinfeld, by the way. Symbol's MANH, so I call it man hands. You ever watch that episode? It's one of the funnier ones. In the news, the government's still shut. Just letting you know. The government's still shut. You ready? Prediction. What's today? Tuesday? I say they quote-unquote reopen before the weekend. Before the weekend. That's my prediction. Do you know why? Because they're starting to have some pretty good delays at the airports. That would be the lever. And if that worsens, oh yes, by the weekend. I doubt they let it go into the weekend. I gather you're going to hear something sooner rather than later that they're actually going to have a meeting. And then we'll see how it goes. Let me be clear on this. This is all on the Marxist Party shutting the government, not the Republicans. And do not believe the Marxist Party when they say, oh, Obamacare does not pay for people that came across the border illegally. They are lying to you. I just want to let you know, and as you know, we don't have a gender ulterior motive bias. We rip the Republicans as much as we do the Marxists. Oh, by the way, they're Marxists. They're not Democrats anymore. And by the way, the Republicans are not Republicans anymore either. I'm going to guess by Friday, before we head into the weekend, we'll be open back up. And by the way, the other part of the Marxist Party that makes you want to vomit. So the president said, well, we're going to come up with money from elsewhere to pay the military. And you know what the Marxist Party says? Well, that's wrong to do. Really? Really? The people that defend us and put us in harm's way, the president's coming up with a way to pay them, and you say that's wrong to do. Oh, yeah. That's great. Anyway, the Marxist Party irritating the hell out of me today. And speaking of that, and the Marxist Party, I think this mayor is going to win in New York City, the next mayor. And let me be clear, and I'd say it to his face. He hates America. He hates Jews. He hates Israelis. He hates Israel. He hates capitalism. He hates democracy. He loves being a communist control freak. And you'll see it on day one, unfortunately. And unfortunately, part of that is not protecting the citizenry, as he has called for less police, fewer jails, more social workers when there are issues out there. Yeah, why don't you have, by the way, in case you don't know, I love the subway in New York City, but every now and then I come face to face with something that could be trouble. And I'm just thinking to myself, oh yeah, a social worker is going to fix that. Really? I was on the subway 3 weeks ago and some guy was getting in a woman's face. And fortunately, he was smaller than me. So I got a little bit brave and, told him, And fortunately, there was a guy that was like 6'6" and 310 that backed me up. But I think the guy was ready to do something. Oh, A social worker would probably be able to talk him out of it, right? You know why the subways in New York City are so much better now? Police presence. Simple as that. And this doofus wants less. He'll have plenty of security as he walks around, as he does right now, but not us. Anyway, good luck, New York City. And as you know, I have an apartment up there, and I'm up there maybe 5 days a month, 6 days a month, something like that. And we'll keep you apprised what goes on if he wins. The hope is he doesn't, and unfortunately, if he doesn't, you get the flu, because it's the flu versus pneumonia. You'll get Cuomo. Yay. How do we get to these places? Beats the hell out of me, ladies and gentlemen. Beats the hell out of me. Anyway, we'll keep you up to date. Why? Because it's New York City. And if you don't know, it's quite important to this country what goes on there. Simple as that. And that's your little bit of news of the day. All right, so tomorrow we'll see how Netflix goes. We'll see how other reactions go, and we'll have everything for you on a daily basis. And hopefully we get some big reactions and big plays to play. You'll have a great evening. Drive carefully. When you get home, do like we do. Make sure you hug your family. Make sure you hug your children. They will feel better. You'll feel better. I promise. Stay well. Be well. Appreciate your time. Have a good night, everybody. Bye-bye.